In this video, we are going to break down the 10 steps to lose the last 10 pounds of stubborn belly fat. Now, if you are someone that struggles to shift that belly fat which sits at the bottom of your belly, you feel uncomfortable, you've tried various diets and nothing seems to shift those final few pounds, well, in the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'm going to tell you the exact protocol that you need to follow, the 10 steps in order to get rid of that stubborn belly fat. Now, step number one is we actually want to aim for 8 to 15,000 steps per day. From a physiological standpoint, all movement matters and every minute counts. And when you move your body, it's a form of physical activity. It's not planned, it's not structured, it's not repetitive. It could be as simple as going to the supermarket or getting up from your seat and doing a particular task. What that does is it increases glucose transportation from the blood into your muscle cells. So glucose isn't stagnating in the blood and it gives the body the chance to use that glucose as an energy. But of course, it's also going to help put you into an energy deficit because you are increasing your overall energy expenditure. They do say about 10,000 steps burns 500 calories. And if you are in a 3,500 calorie deficit, every single week, you can drop 0.5 kilos of body fat. Now, of course, depending on your capability, we do want to look at escalation to commitment. So if you can do more than 10,000 steps, that's great. If you can't do 10,000 steps as a baseline, aim for a lower number, around 8,000 steps. What that's going to do is still going to allow you to increase your overall energy expenditure and look at escalation to commitment, but you'll focus on the remaining 9 areas in order to dial in and actually lose that stubborn belly fat. Number 2, we want to resistance train 3 to 4 times per week. Resistance training is incredibly important because it can actually increase something called your basal metabolic rate. Muscle is much more metabolically active than fat. And the best way that I can describe this is I want you to imagine a 70 kilogram man or woman. And we're going to have A and B. Both weigh 70 kilograms. However, one of them has a significant amount of muscle and the other does not. They have a significant amount of body fat. Now, the one that has a significant amount of muscle can actually burn more calories at rest. So when they're sat down watching their favorite movie or catching up with their friends, their family, their partner, they're actually burning more calories, which is naked to the human eye. You can't see it. They go into thin air, but that also means that they can increase the number of calories that they are consuming. Because if they're burning more calories at rest, well, guess what? Their energy expenditure has also significantly increased. Compare that to B, who has quite a lot of body fat. They burn less calories at rest. So what we would say there is calories are needed to preserve your muscle mass. And of course, if you compare those two individuals, they both weigh the same, but one might need significantly more calories or can eat more calories compared to the other. It's almost like the riddle, what weighs more? A ton of feathers or a ton of bricks? We've both got the same weight, 1 ton, but of course, visually, they are different. We have 4 ways that we burn energy. Our basal metabolic rate, which is the amount of energy your body uses to perform life-sustaining functions at rest. But also, if you have more muscle, we can increase your basal metabolic rate to be able to preserve that muscle. We then have the thermic effect of food. So any digestion, processing and metabolizing of food and drink, that is going to help you to burn calories. We then have NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. That's the 8 to 15,000 steps that you're going to be completing every single day. And then we have EAT, exercise, activity, resistance training. 3 to 4 times per week is what I would argue is the sweet spot. Now, number 3, I want you to eat the same number of meals every single day. If you eat 3 big meals or 5 small meals, continuously stick to that. And a bonus is actually to track your food. It's not necessary, but it can give you a visual representation of the number of calories that you're consuming, but also your macro and your micro distribution. So macronutrients are carbohydrates, protein, and fat. And then micronutrients, there are tons. We've got vitamins, we've also got minerals, we've got dietary fats, we've got fiber. All of them play a significant role in the human body. And if you fix what's going on internally, well, externally, you're going to be able to perform in these areas. With eating the same number of meals as well, it helps to standardize your hunger hormones, such as ghrelin and leptin. Your body and your brain actually understand when you should be eating and when you should be drinking. So that allows you to look at the data and see perhaps when you're eating. If you're eating late towards bed, and of course you go and weigh yourself the next day, you might have an increase in your stale weight just because your body hasn't actually digested that food as of yet. Or if you did have something which was high in sodium, then you can pinpoint it to that. Number 4, fast 16 to 8 or 8-16. These numbers represent hours. So you could fast for 16 hours of the day, and then for 8 hours, you're going to be eating, or you could fast for 8 hours, and then for the remainder of that day, the 16 hours, you're going to be eating. And of course, you can spread your meals out within that time range. Generally speaking, when you do fast, it does put you into a metabolic state where your body actually starts to churn into body fat. But also we start to break down glycogen, which is in the liver and the muscle, and we can convert that into glucose. But our goal is to break down stored body fat or belly fat. As much as we can't spot reduce belly fat, I can't wave my magic wand and take it off my stomach. What that will allow us to do is put the body into an energy state where it's more likely to break down stored body fat. There's another process called gluconeogenesis where we can actually break down fatty acids, but also amino acids, so fats and protein, and convert it into glucose as well. Another opportunity for our body to break down stored body fat. Number 5, low intensity cardio, 3 to 5 times per week. Now, cardio will not help you to lose body fat, but it will contribute towards that overall energy deficit to help you lose body fat and lose weight. If I was to throw a number at you, Jack, how long should these cardio sessions be? I would say anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes, ideally 200 to 300 calories burned within that specific session. So of course, if you're doing 20 minutes times 3 per week, you're probably going to be burning around 600 calories. And you would add that on top of your daily steps, which again, hypothetically, we said would burn 500 calories per day if you did do 10,000 steps. Number 6, probably the most important. We want to maximize your nutrients. We want to make sure the body is getting those essential vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients. These are what I call little workers inside of our body, our gut microbiome. They dictate the way we think, the way we feel, how we operate on a regular basis. And of course, if you're not paying them in those essential vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients, and they're not getting paid on time, they're going to cause strikes. It's going to be very problematic. Food is fuel, and you need to be fueling your body in order for you to perform. 99% of people think that by slashing calories, or perhaps just looking at food as a whole and not actually dialing in on the micronutrients that they should be consuming, is gonna help them lose the last 10 pounds of stubborn belly fat. They think that they can eat whatever they want as long as they are in a calorie deficit. wrong. And the reason being is these little workers, because they become problematic, this is what I call the London Tube Network. We have thousands of different train tracks across the body. Our veins, our arteries, our capillaries, which run from the top of your head all the way down to your big toe. And on those trains, we have passengers, oxygen, vitamins, minerals, cholesterol, catecholamines, specific hormones like testosterone, estrogen, glucose for energy. We need to make sure that those trains get to their correct destination. If there's a delay and there's London tube strikes, there is something going on internally which is problematic. Things like stress hormones, cortisol, and adrenaline, they are troublemakers. They can cause London tube strikes. But of course, if you are deficient in specific vitamins and minerals, this will also impact how you operate on a day-to-day basis, whether you have low energy, whether you're tired, lethargic, fatigued, and that leads to chronic stress. Chronic stress then leads to elevated levels of glucose because the body is trying to recharge itself, meaning that you're always going to be in an energy state where you're not going to lose body fat. It's looking at survival rather than a rest and digest state. So it's incredibly important that you maximize your nutrients. Number 7, weigh yourself daily. Grab a notepad and pen. If you're old-fashioned like myself, use your mobile phone. The majority of scales nowadays, they have an app. Log your weight. Understand those fluctuations in your scale weight, but also on a weekly basis. Whether you do have food off plan, whether you do have an alcoholic beverage, whether you do eat at a restaurant or a cafe, whether you do miss a meal, whether you do eat over your calories, because this can help you pinpoint why your scale weight has gone up. And we want to see linear progression in your scale weight, right? Because it's a great predictor of losing the last 10 pounds of stubborn belly fat. Number 8, do not cut food groups. Incredibly important. The majority of people think that they need to follow specific diets, Afro-Caribbean, ketogenic diets where it's low carbohydrates, carnivore diet where it's just protein. This is linked to number 6. You will be deficient in those specific nutrients if you start to slash food groups and you cut calories super low because your body is in a stressed state. We want it to be in a rest and digest state. We want it to be in a relaxed state where you can operate at 100% capacity. So we do need carbohydrate for energy. We do need protein to preserve tissue in the body and help to repair that tissue once we've resistance trained. And we do need dietary fat to regulate specific hormones and also the transportation of certain vitamins, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin K. So just because fat is an energy dense macromolecule, it contains 9 kilocalories per gram, does not mean that you should cut it from your diet. Number 9, hydration and electrolytes. It comes back to the idea of performance. Your body needs those electrolytes, sodium, potassium, magnesium, to be able to contract your muscles. Things like calcium as well. We have something called calcium citation contraction coupling, which basically calcium ion channels help to contract your muscles. Now, in terms of electrolytes, things like sodium and potassium, they play tennis with one another when we contract our muscles. Without those two, our joints, our muscles, they're not lubricated. We will operate at 50% capacity. The human body requires fluids, and fluids is not just water, it's those electrolytes which we talked about. So make sure you season your food. The general daily allowance is 6 grams of salt, sodium, NaCl or Na. The majority of people will have 6 to 8 grams. But if you are someone that is not seasoning their food, well, this is problematic, and it leads back to the idea of why you're not losing the last 10 pounds. Your body's still in that stress state. In terms of what I'd recommend, Redmond sea salt. Redmond sea salt is number one. It's ancient, it's high in iodine, it's incredible. Pop some in your water before you go on resistance training, or perhaps get into a routine in the morning and actually have it alongside apple cider vinegar. Second on that list, I'd pick Celtic salt, and then third, your pink Himalayan salt. And then number 10, sleep 8 to 10 hours per night. Yes, sleep quality is of importance. Going through those different stages and making sure that you're hitting enough REM sleep, which stands for rapid eye movement. But also the number of hours that you're sleeping as well. If you are sleep deprived, you are going to elevate those stress hormones and put your body in a survival state. So if it's in a survival state, it's going to hold on to that stubborn belly fat for energy purposes, to ensure that you are surviving. So guys, they are the 10 steps to lose the last 10 pounds of stubborn belly fat. That fat which sits at the bottom of your belly. Some of you might be following a few of these steps already, but trust me when I say this, number 6 and number 10 are the ones that you're most likely missing. You can only train as hard as you can recover. And in order to recover, we need to make sure that our micronutrients are maximized and we're not just focusing on macronutrients and calories. If you enjoyed this type of content, make sure to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next one.